y'all gotta try these gluten-free Hostess cupcakes. Now, I love this recipe because it's so easy to put together. It's a gluten-free chocolate cupcake recipe with the chocolate ganache, vanilla buttercream in the middle, and that famous little squiggly on top for a delicious and gluten-free version of this nostalgic treat. I'm all about a simple recipe, and like all of my favorites, one bowl, all you need, everything comes together in this one bowl. So for the flour, I'm using Bob's Red Mill gluten-free all-purpose flour. It's the 1-to-1 ratio blend. This is a really good one. It has xanthan gum already in it. If your flour blend does not have xanthan gum, make sure you add a half a teaspoon, or if you want to order this and can't find it at the store, the link's in the description. So 3/4 of a cup of our gluten-free all-purpose flour going in, and then granulated sugar. We also have 3/4 of a cup. We have 1/3 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. Then I've also got a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. You just want to whisk the dry ingredients together, get everything really nicely dispersed in there. If your cocoa powder is looking pretty lumpy, make sure you sift it. Now with the wet ingredients, first off here I have a half a cup of vegetable oil, to which I added 3 ounces or about a half a cup of Semisweet chocolate chips. I put this in the microwave for 30 seconds and melted the chocolate and stirred it to combine. This helps keep a really nice, rich and moist cupcake, which with chocolate is very important. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that into the bowl. And then I've also got some vanilla extract going in, about 1 teaspoon of vanilla or more. I'm heavy-handed with vanilla, sue me. We have 2 large eggs, and then a half a cup of milk. You can use whatever milk fits your dietary needs. I'm using almond milk. If you want to use regular milk, cashew milk, oat milk, the world is your oyster, honey. And that's it for the ingredients. So just gently whisk to combine, and this makes such a beautiful batter. It looks so great. And now I have my gorgeous muffin pan with white paper liners in it. I always prefer to spray the top just lightly of the pan, just in case the cupcakes go over even the littlest bit. That way they don't stick. This is a pretty delicate cake, so if they do stick, you can risk tearing them apart when you go to remove them from the pan, so just spray to be safe. And then my other secret with cupcakes, I used to work in a cupcake bakery making 400 a day starting at 4 a.m. And the cookie scoop was our just God-given gift of fast, easy, and consistent cupcakes. This is a 2 3/4 inch cookie scoop. I find that it fills these perfectly. They come out all looking the same. You wanna fill each one about 2/3 of the way full. And this recipe should make just about a dozen. Now, I always like to just tap the pan on the counter. It releases any air bubbles in the batter so they rise evenly. And you want to put these in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 15 to 18 minutes. I like to just touch the top. If they spring back when lightly touched, they're done. Or you can always use a toothpick or a cake tester. It should come out completely clean and you're good to go. I mean, look at how good these look. They come out so perfect. I love that crackly top. They smell amazing. You can tell they're super light and fluffy. Perfect gluten-free chocolate cupcakes. Now you wanna let these cool all the way before we move on to the filling, because you cannot fill a warm cupcake. It's not gonna go very well. So when it comes to the filling of a classic Hostess cupcake, it's that really light, almost like whipped cream type of filling, and to me it has no flavor. So I'm gonna amp it up with some very light and fluffy vanilla buttercream, because I think it would just go a little bit better and make these a little more special. So in my bowl here I have 1 cup, which is 2 sticks of unsalted butter, totally softened. I beat this butter on a medium-high speed for a good few minutes to really make that butter super light and fluffy. Now we're gonna go classic vanilla. So I have about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract going in there. Just gonna mix this on a low speed to totally combine it with the butter, and then turn it up to medium for another 30 seconds or so. And then I have powdered sugar. I would recommend sifting this before you add it in, just to prevent any lumps. And I have 2.5 cups of powdered sugar. Since it's not really that much, I'm just gonna dump it all in at one time. And the key to making really light buttercream with a recipe like this, where it's only a few ingredients, is to just keep beating it. You really can't overmix this. So if you keep going on a high speed for a good few minutes, it'll be super light, fluffy, melt in your mouth frosting. So I've got my cooled cupcakes here, and I've got 2 piping bags. This one is for later. And this one I've cut about a ½ inch off the tip of the bag. First, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold down the piping bag about 1/3 of the way, just like that, and kind of prop my hand in there. Fold it around my hand, open the bag up. That just makes it neater. And then I will get a spoonful of, or a spatula full of frosting, kind of push it down into the bag like that. Now we're not putting all of the frosting in this bag. We're going to save some of it for the decoration on top. You know that little swirly pattern? This is gonna be the filling and that decoration. So don't use all the frosting for the filling. So to fill these cupcakes, I'm just going to push down into the center and then pipe what feels like about a tablespoon's worth of this filling. I find that a tablespoon is just about the perfect amount, because if you do it too much, then the cupcake is gonna totally fall apart the second you take that wrapper off. And of course, if there's not enough, it's just a disappointment. And I'm just gonna go in and kind of first off push down any imperfections that may have happened when we piped the filling in. And then because I am a perfectionist, I'm gonna just kind of flatten these out just to make the top super clean, so that when we put the ganache on it, they'll still be nice and flat. All right, so next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop these in the fridge just for about 5 or so minutes while we make the ganache. It's just gonna help make things a little bit neater. So when it comes to making ganache, I use a very simple method. I have 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips in a bowl here, and I have heated 3/4 cup of heavy cream in the microwave about 1.5 minutes or until it comes to a simmer and is scalded. You don't wanna bring it to a full boil because it's too hot and it'll burn the chocolate. But once your cream is to that simmering point, which you can do on the stove as well, all you do is pour it over your chocolate, and then you want to let it sit for just about a minute or so, and it's going to melt the chocolate, but it won't overheat it and burn it, and it'll make a really nice and smooth ganache. Now, once it's been about a minute, I like to use either a spoon or a small spatula. I'll start in the center and just make small circular stirs in the center like this, because it'll take a minute for it to come together. And then once you see that silky shininess start to appear in the center, I find that so exciting. That's when you can kind of start to speed up and widen your stirs. And just look at how gorgeous and shiny and smooth this is. Ugh, beautiful. So once our ganache is all done and we've got our cupcakes that are filled, time to dip these puppies. So I'm just going to do a nice, generous dunk in our ganache, kind of rotate, let the excess drip off. And this is why chilling them actually really helps, because it'll help the ganache start to set pretty much immediately so that you don't have tons dripping down the side. It just makes the whole process a lot neater and quicker. Okay, now these are absolutely gorgeous. I would eat these as is, but of course we have to decorate them. Before we do, I'm gonna pop these in the fridge for about 5 more minutes just to let that ganache fully firm up so that we can pipe neat little swirls on top of them. Now the moment we've all been waiting for, at least me, I don't know. I'm gonna pipe this little squiggly on top of the cupcakes. The rest of the frosting I put in another 12-inch piping bag. This time I did use a small round tip. And go slow on this, there's no need to rush. And it also doesn't have to be perfect. These are homemade. They don't need to look like they came out of the factory that produces all of these snacks. But I think to do this classic pattern, we do 3 little loops in the center like that. And I'm not applying too much pressure. You don't really need to with these. Was that not surprisingly easy? And look at how good these look. I'm actually really proud of myself because I'd say that looks pretty dang similar to the store-bought version, and we know it's gonna be a whole lot better. The full written recipe is in the description. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other social media and join me every week for new delicious episodes and recipes. And I will see you guys next time. Oh my God.